Hello everyone and welcome to week 28 of the Gran Turismo weekly race guide, and this one sort of interesting. A lot of speed in this. Let's call it speed. As you can see in the background, we are at an oval. We're at Blue Moon Bay Speedway, in fact. But let's have a look at the race details first of all. We're racing 7 laps here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway. We're on sports medium tyres and it's a grid start. Now, if you can't tell in the background, we are racing in the Chevrolet Camaro SS. Now, this, interestingly, was one of the ideas for the Community Championship that I have talked about, using American cars as sort of NASCAR at ovals. And, yeah, GT apparently have got in my head and done that. So, let's have a look at what happened into the race, should I say. Let's have a look at what happens in the race because, yeah, it sort of went how I thought it would go. Here we are then at the start, all lined up in our Chevrolet Camaros. And we've got bumblebees at the back, by the way, if you notice. 4 yellows there. So we're going to hopefully transform and go through the... No, that was terrible. That was terrible. Right, grid start. Traction control on 1. Make sure you just get away nice and clean as we get ready with the countdown. Here we go then. And I turned it off quite early because I wanted to kind of a little bit of wheel spin. Get the revs higher. Yeah, off we go really nice and easy. You see Quinton there already looking to make moves as we head towards turn 1. Now, we are in Bumblebee and it's very much a floaty boaty, this Camaro. As through the first corner we go. This is a 4th gear corner. There is a lap guide as well for this one. So do keep an eye out shortly for that. I'm just showing you lap 1. And as you see, very close racing. Now, the first few laps here were actually relatively clean, and as the race went on, people were obviously getting a little bit more frustrated and agitated, and we're going a bit more aggressive, and you're going to see that in this race. That was what I thought might happen, and it happened. So, yeah, spoiler alert, I've already spoiled some of the race, I suppose. Doing so, into here we go, max power, or not max power, goes around the outside, lovely little move there. Yeah, we continue on racing. You see it's quite nice and clean at the moment. However, what we're going to do is we will advance a bit further on then in the race as we go a lap later. And we're going to head towards turn 1 here. We're going to show you the braking marker that you can use here. So it's that white bit there before the 100-meter board. That white banner there, the start of that. See, I'm braking early just because I don't want the concertina effect or hit anybody. But when you're on time trial, that's what you're looking for there. You can see we're 4 wide here. 4th gear for this corner. Do not drop to 3rd. Remember, there is a delay in shifting as we had to try and give constant room there as we were slight contact there, 4 wide through the corner, but nobody got walled. Trust me, people do get walled in this race as we continue on. Now, some people keep going to the flat part on the inside. That's going to cause carnage because what happens is the car instantly comes back onto the oval and fires onto it and then hits cars on the outside. So you just have to be careful of that. Now, this left-hander, once again, it's the banner before the 100-meter board. In this one, you really want to trail brake as much as possible. And you want to try and keep it above 120. That's the absolute goal here, which is very difficult when you're in this situation. But 120 is a prime goal. Do not stay in 5th gear. 4th gear is the better option. I just tried 5th just to see if it was any good, or it just bogs down a little bit too much. Unless you can maintain the height of speed, but it's very unlikely because I tried and I couldn't do it. But you may be better than me at it, so maybe you can. Into turn 1 we go then. What's going to happen this time? Oh, yes. Hitting the wall. Apparently, that was the rank 1 at the time, hitting the wall. Obviously, me and Constance just made a mistake there. You can clearly see that because we lost positions. But don't wall ride. Don't be a moron. Do it properly. Do the lap properly. If you're a rank 1 and you hit the wall, you just look like a prat. So don't do it. Right, we advance a bit further on here then. As you know, it's just been status quo, slowly moving up the field and side by side as we continue towards this left-hander then. See side by side up ahead, 2x2 should I say, and we're about to go into a single line here, and this is where obviously we're getting towards the end of the race now. It's going to get a little bit more pushy is the best word. So we're trying to keep at that 120, just drop below it unfortunately, but it's definitely possible. You see a lot of wall grinding there, lots of darting towards the last one's nearly in the pits there on the left hand side, no idea who that is, but we're getting a couple of positions here. Oh, it's max power. Obviously wanted to see what the pits look like. We continue on towards turn 1. This scared me a little bit. Max power just coming over there. Had to brake a little bit early there, but we avoid hitting him, fortunately. And through this corner we go. And you see, once again, a couple of people get walled there. Too many people leaning on each other there. So we managed to gain a few positions here. I'm going to head down here. Now, look at that radar. This is kind of critical. I did spot this. I was really looking at the radar. So there's someone on the inside. So it just moves over to the left bit, forces them onto the flat surface. which causes a bounce, and then that causes Svetlio to bounce into me. And unfortunately, that cost me a position. So it's one of those where if somebody's just on your inside, you just got to leave that room. Just move over. Otherwise, you have that instance where the car comes back on the oval. The weight shift just forces the car quite far over and causes a little instance like that. Into turn one, just get slight nudge from behind, nothing major. And we're just trying to survive at this point. Try and keep a position here as we go through the oval. And I was expecting carnage, if I'm honest, this last corner. Last lap of an oval, heading towards the last corner. There's always going to be something that happens here. But I was trying to set myself up right so that if it does, I can take full advantage and advise you to do the same. I took a wide line here because I wanted to then go tight for the final corner, basically. I wanted to get that momentum. So here I go down the inside, hoping that there was going to be some form of carnage, but there wasn't. Everyone was just fairly fine, to be honest with you. Conster goes very close to that wall, joined us a few sparks. I'm going to head towards the line. And that is it for race A, to be honest. I think this could be very dirty in parts, if I'm honest. A lot of people know each other in this lobby, so it was fine. But yeah, just be careful out there, folks. That's all I can say. Right, let's head to race B, where we head to the track which has all the carnage, Monza. Yes, we are in Italy for this one, folks. And as you can see, we're in a Bugatti, so it's Group 4 as well. Let's have a look at the race details then. We're racing 4 laps here at Monza. It's a rolling start, but nothing to worry about really. And the racing medium tyre, so it's very grippy as well. Now, yeah, as you can see, it's the Bugatti Veyron is the main car of choice. A few people picked the Peugeot. We have a Citroen in there for reasons unknown to science. Let's jump to the race then, and let's find out exactly what happened with, once again, a lap guide as well. Here we are then at the start. Veyron, Veyron, Veyron. Look at all the Veyrons. A couple of pugs at the back. And then the Estonian goes in the GT by Citroen. Shout out to you. Right. Anyway, Quinton is in front of us, of course. Quinton going to show us exactly how it's done rather than me plebbing it. No idea why I messed about with traction control there. And you saw my brake balance was on 3. I started avoiding 5 just because of the oversteer. I used 3, and I think it'd be better for everybody to use 3 personally who watch this, because obviously you're looking for a little bit of tip. That is a little bit of a tip there for you. Use 3. Now, as always, with race B, we're going to go straight into a lap guide. However, I do play a couple of corners in this first lap. So while you may not see me do it quite right, if I can speak, I will point out the markers for you all the same. So heading towards turn 1, it's our favourite marker of them all, the 150 metre board, but you have to brake before it. You can't brake at it or just ahead of it like we normally do. It's before it. You can see I'm on the brakes early now, but that's because it's lap 1, minute 1. However, just before the 150 metre board is where you want to brake. The cones signify that as well. So through here, you just got to be careful, of course. You can use that sausage on the left there to your advantage. Just rotates the car a little bit for you. Of course, this Veyron, very heavy, and a little bit of rotation. Doesn't help. Doesn't half help, really, does it? Really? I said really about 3 times. Apologies. Right. Turn 2. Where are we going to brake? Well, on the right-hand side, we have the orange paint on the barrier, but we're braking a little bit early here. Because we are in slipstream. I misjudged this as well, but you want to brake as close to that as possible. It's a 3rd gear corner as well. And we just get quite close there to the pug. We just didn't anticipate the braking effect as much as we should have done. So we just had a straight line brake a little bit there. But that is your marker. In towards this right-hander then, and use the shadow. We don't have change of time in this race, so use that shadow. It's a very good marker. Lovely marker, straight in front of you, and you can use it all the way across the circuit as well, even if you're overtaking somebody. 4th gear through the corner, and then we're going to head to the 2nd Lesmo then. And I'm going to point out both markers once again here. The 50 metre board on the left, or the tree on the right. Pick whichever one you want here. I'm braking just before it as well. But obviously through the week you would get us very close to that 50 metre board. As we see somebody's gone off there, Norwegian off. And also somebody else going on very nicely actually. I really like that rejoin. Shout out to you, Race for Life, I think that was. It was a very good rejoin now. Just stay to the left and gradually comes on. Right, Ascari is our usual marker once again, and you can get very close to it. It's the orange painted marker on the right-hand side. Or you can use the tarmac, of course. We do occasionally use that, but you want to brake here. This is where you want to brake to make the corner fine. So here we go. 4th gear as well. And you want to really clip the left, and then a beautiful on the right. Just be careful, a bit of oversteer as you go over the bumps, and then clip the left as well. And we're going to have a run at Skizzo as well at the same time here in that pug. And now you're going to see the speed difference between the Peugeot and the Bugatti Veyron as we head towards the last corner. So at the Parabolica, it is our normal braking marker. So you can see the 100 metre board there. You can use the lights as well if you want to use those in case somebody's wiped out all the boards. But just after the 100-meter board is when you want to brake. And you want to try and keep it a little bit tight here if you can. And then when you get to that, when you can see that second light on the right-hand side, we passed the first one, we're approaching the second one. That's when you really want to go full throttle as you approach that. The earlier you can do it, the better. But you see how I really try and progress the throttle very quickly to get to 100% throttle because it's just a good marker. It's every time you can use that to your advantage. Now, we've advanced a bit further on here because there's a lot of racing action up ahead. Let's put it that way. So we finally caught up to all the action here. We stopped plebbing it ourselves. And through we go. Cone decided to get massacred there. And we're going to come through here. I'm going to decide to do a Moses mover. We just touched Jim Bob there, but we're in the slipstream here. So it's like, okay. Shout out to Will and Jim Bob, because Will, I think, could have come across there and stopped that, but he didn't. So shout out to you. And yeah, Moses maneuver complete. Or it was complete because, yeah, I've just ran a little bit deep here. So that's compromised a little bit. But again, I used that second light. I saw it. I was in third gear this time. I was like, I need to plant my foot here, otherwise I'm not going anywhere. And look at this. Now we've got a great little battle going on here. A pug is being destroyed here by a bunch of bugs as we head towards the turn one then. So heading there, and I get a bit scared here because Vetio just comes over at the last second, a bit more than I was expecting. Obviously, he was just aware of Jim Bob there, so yeah, I was scared I was going to wipe somebody out here. But fortunately, we survive. And then on the inside here, we have to leave space on the outside. Just tap Will with that understeer. We'll let Will go, and then we continue on in the hope that we can continue racing, of course, because we all survive and there's a big gap behind. So happy days so far. We're fighting for that P5 position, not the cursed position. We do not want the cursed position ever again. So heading in towards the second chicane then, and we're going to brake just before that orange painted barrier on the right. And through, spaghetti, it's perfect time to use that. We've got a penalty for cutting the chicane, so just be careful about cutting that too much. We end up behind the Citroen then, and the Bugatti, the Marlboro Bugatti. We decided to make it 3 wide, because why not? Monza, last lap, happy days, let's try it. So, heading towards turn 1, and it ends up being 2x2, and someone's gone off there, an Italian, that's not good. Through we go, and we're in second gear. Don't be in second gear, be in first gear. Second gear bogs down, you just saw that, and status quo at the end. But we are catching that group ahead. So, heading up towards the second chicane then. Citroen goes down the inside. Good little move. Unfortunately, Bugatti does have to try and get round the corner there. So there's a little bit of a tap. But we gain a position there. And down the inside of the Marlboro Bugatti as well. I didn't think I did this. Can't remember what I did like 5 minutes ago. There we go. But through we go. And we don't get that position so far. But got a couple of corners to go yet. So through the Lesmo 2 we go. And there's a penalty up ahead. So I'm like, okay. Can we use this to our advantage? Well, here we go then. So Will's got a penalty. We're going to end up in the slipstream here, which should be an advantage. There, we're in it now. So we start to pull away from that Bugatti. Of course, catching Will quite quickly. A bit of an unusual situation. We go into the braking, and unfortunately, we get tapped. Obviously, it's a bit of a mistake there from Bonnie. I don't know whether they got tapped from behind or what happened there, but just a bit unfortunate. The Norwegian's off again there. I'm not sure what's happened, but Bonnie was waiting up. So, you know, mistakes happen. It is what it is. Just unfortunate. We carry on with our lives. We're all still alive. We're breathing. It's good, isn't it? We can race again at any point. So, no need to go crazy. We carry on. I'm going to head towards that line. And, yeah, it's going to be P12, unfortunately. The double curse. Double curse. P12. Is that even a thing? I don't know. Anyway, yes, we're going to finish the race here. But race B, again, there's going to be a lot of dives and action there. It's very quick. So, it's a bit like race A, to be honest. Race C, though, a little bit different because you can manage it a little bit better. For race C, then, we are at the Red Bull Ring, and you can see in the background we're in the Group 2 cars. Shout out to Driver's Room once again for the liveries. You may have seen that on the Bugatti. We've got one here on the Nissan GTR because, as we know, the GTR appears to be the best Group 2 car from what we've discovered. Anyway, let's have a look at the race details then. We're racing 14 laps here at the Red Bull Ring. It's a rolling start. We have the soft and medium compound of tyre. Fuel usage is ×2 and tyre wear is ×8. So while there is a generic strategy where you would want to come in, potentially do 8 laps on soft and then the rest on medium, or 7 on soft and then 7 on medium, there is more management to it than meets the eye. Let's jump to the race then. We'll talk through that management and we'll see how it goes, as well as a lap guide that we always do at the Red Bull Ring. Here we are then at the start. As you can see, GTR. We have an NSX. We have 2 NSXs. We've got a Lexus in there, but it's mainly GTRs, let's be honest with you here. So, you can see quite a few fast people in here. WDP, back again. Consta, Quinton. Consta's going to feature a little bit later on in this race. That's all I'll say. Poor Consta, the Olympian. Oh, anyway, here we go then. So you can see the start. If you're near the back, you're starting on some corners. So just be careful of that as we come through the last corner. You see the tyres aren't going to be warm, so it's going to be very, very, very non-grippy. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to warm up our tyres here as we head towards turn 1. We'll do a lap guide a little bit later on. See, we've got a yellow flag already, which means someone played turn 1. Indeed, they have. It's bonus kart 162. Sorry, not 162, just 62. Apologies. As they stick towards the right-hand side because sportsman-like stuff, not jumping straight to the racing line as they are the slower car in towards this turn. And we tried second gear. Doesn't really work out, so I wouldn't recommend it. It's why I kept this clip in, to be honest with you. Second gear doesn't work. It bogs down, so use first gear for that right-hander. See, Thunderstorm did go off briefly there, and once again, stay some good sportsmanlike driving. Anyway, we try to go around the outside here, which is very scary, as Thunderstorm had dirt on their tyres. But even so, we continue through and continue on, and you can see we've lost a little bit of time here because of that second gear. However, we catch up, but then, yes, heading towards this right-hander. 3 wide, look at that. The Consta are really tight on the inside there. Everyone makes it work, though, to be fair. And you're always going to get oversteer on the exit there. So good effort by Consta. 2 in 1 as we try and go around the outside of Sash here. Now, this is some brilliant racing you're about to see. Look at this, side-by-side action. No running somebody off to the gravel and, yeah, causing carnage as we go around the outside once again. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful racing as we get in position there. Shout out to you, Sash, for that. That was beautiful. As we're in this big battle now. Look at this line of cars as we go into this right-hander. And now Quinton, you see, has just got in the pits there. You may have not seen it, but he has done. This is where I'm going to talk about strategy, okay? We're in a big line of cars here. Now, I read somebody said 8.6 and 7.7 in terms of strategy. I thought lap 2 was very early. However, it was in my mind about the traffic, and Quinton obviously had it in his mind as well. But Quinton has come in the pits very early there, so he's going to have to manage his tyres for the rest of the race. I decided I will come in early, just not that early. As we continue on up here, looking on the inside of Womble, not really close enough, but Womble does leave space there, so thank you. We'll try, but it doesn't quite work out. You can see how first gear is so much better as we see a Coney's massacred. So we'll see how Quinton gets on shortly. Okay, we'll see how he gets on shortly as we look down towards this right-hander. And then what we're going to do is zoom in on Consta, who's unfortunately all on the grass and taking somebody out. Who was it? It was Shelty. Oh no. Poor Shelty. He's gone. He's been lost again. It's a common theme on this weekly race guide. We either find Shelty or we lose Shelty, and today we've lost Shelty. So Consta, I don't know what happened there, why he ended up on the grass, but he did, and then at that point you can't stop it, so it was a bit unfortunate. Womble looks on the inside of that Spaniard, but unfortunately he gets that grip bug on the curb, I think, the Spaniard, and we look down the inside of Womble and we look to get it done. As through we go, and WDP now going in the pit. So again, somebody trying to look to manage the traffic where possible. If you are stuck in a battle, it's going to cost you a lot of time, and I did feel I was losing a lot of time here, I've got to be honest. In down towards his right-hander then. Spaniard's on the inside of Kunjani there, and we're going to take full advantage of that as we continue through. Just got a bit of oversteer. I was worried I was going to get a penalty then. I didn't, fortunately. But at this point, I was like, I need to come in. I need to get out of this traffic myself here. So I was actually going to wait an extra lap, and because there was only one car ahead of me, but because it would involve more battling, I didn't, basically. So pit loss is around 21 seconds. That's measured from the minute the pit sequence begins. You can see the time. And then at this point where we come out now, it's 21 seconds there. Obviously, you'll lose a tiny bit more going up towards the this right-hander coming up, but it's not going to be that much over 21 seconds. You might be able to fight that as well. So in here we go. And look at this action up ahead. So somebody's out on the tarmacy stuff there. Not tarmac, AstroTurf stuff. Unfortunately, they get oversteer, which will happen there. It's very slippery. So we managed to get 3 positions. Happy days. And now we're fighting for the cursed one, which Jim Bob's in. It's nice to see Jim Bob hasn't been killed this week. Let's be honest. Last week, Jim Bob didn't have the best of races in terms of the weekly races because, I mean, he died in every race. But not this one. However, you may have seen he's just gone a little bit wide there and got a penalty. So just be careful of that. Make sure you stay on the red and white curbs. If you go over them, you are going to get a penalty like Jim Bob. Now we're going to have some good racing here. Jim Bob doesn't run me off like we saw in F1. We have some good racing there. Look at that. Beautiful stuff as we head towards this left-hander then. And looking for the cutback now, which is a good little effort to do. And gets a good run out there. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But doesn't manage to brake late enough there. And we maintain position and carry on in that cursed position. So let's advance a bit further on to lap 14 and a lap guide for you here. Obviously, we've got worn tyres, so just keep that in mind. Turn 1, 100-meter board, brake just before it. And critically, stay in third gear. Do not go to second. You may have to go to second if you brake too deep, but third gear will just stabilize the car enough. You'll still be in the revs where it's plentiful, but if you go to second gear, you'll get a lot of wheel spin and oversteer. Third gear is the dream gear for that turn. Turn 2 then, once again, you're looking for that 100-meter board, but we're braking a bit earlier this time, especially on the worn tyres. And as I demonstrated earlier, first gear is the dream gear here, not second, as we brake. And we just got a little bit deep there. That, of course, is the worn tyres. And you can see the oversteer. Be careful of that on the exit. Right, we're going to head down the hill now towards that long right-hander. And once again, it's your best mate at this circuit. It's the 100-meter board. So you're braking a little bit before it. See, I've just got on the brakes here before it. And this is a second gear corner. You can do it in third, especially if you're saving tyres. However, I would recommend second and just be careful of oversteer. You see I'm bouncing the car through the corner. 50% throttle and then up to 100. It means the rear has some weight over it as I accelerate. 50-meter board now. Forget the 100. 50 is your new best mate. So brake just before that, or use the white line as well, of course. You can use that. Just before it, and you want to stay in third gear and really try and clip the inside curb here and then accelerate out as much as you can. And then as you head to the second part here, you're braking just after you join the short circuit. So that way you can maintain a good line through the corner. It's very easy to brake and turn a bit too early here. But you notice how we clip the curb there beautifully. Be careful of that curb there. It's a bit of a trap. There is a glitch there as we head towards the penultimate corner here. The left-hand side, the marshals are your best mates. Buy them a beer because they're the perfect brake marker for this corner. For third gear, varies. I do this in third. On fresher tyres, I would do it on fourth. And then the last corner here, you're looking for that end of the Austrian flag right there, braking just before it. And again, third gear for this corner. Do not run too wide, as you saw earlier. Jim Bob got a penalty. But that is going to be it for this race. And be careful of the curb there as well. Saw a few spins and I nearly spun myself. I just didn't show it. But even so, that is going to be it for this week's weekly race guide. Very fast week. It's speed week this week. It certainly is. I think there'll be quite a bit of drama this week. So just be careful. And this race has strategy, which is always good. But if you have enjoyed it, please do give it a like. Hit subscribe to stay in touch with all the content. But that's going to be it for me. Ollie is streaming right now if you want to tune in to Ollie, or there's a video there if you want to check out Miata Mania. But that's it for me, folks. Au revoir and farewell.